Now we burn incense in regard to the precepts, meditation, and emancipation. May the light and fragrant cloud of this incense pervade the Dharma world. We offer this incense to the countless Buddhas of the worlds of the 10 directions. May we be able to see, hear, and partake of the fragrance of the wonderful world of tranquil extinction. Good morning, everyone. We'll begin today with just a little silent meditation before our reading, and then we'll begin our Shavagya meditation service. Please place your hands in Polkai Join, Cosmic Realm Mudra. Right hand, left hand, thumb slightly touching. Tongue on the roof of your mouth, just behind your top teeth. Please breathe in with your stomach. Diaphragm. Hold your breath slightly and then breathe out. Through your nose, just keep your eyes open, as if you were gazing at far mountains and everything in between slightly out of focus. Open. Enzan no Metsuke Far Mountain Basin. Jōshingyo, meditation for calming the mind. So this morning, I'm going to read from a book that our direct lineage, basically, is my master Kanjin Shonin, myself, his master, and Kanjo, as well as Hane in Spokane. So we took a collection of my master's writings, and he was the head priest in Toronto for, say, about 15 years. And every single month, he wrote a little newsletter. And in the newsletter, he always put a teaching, a very personal writing that he did. And so my master saved them for all of those years. And we took them and compiled them and made a book that we produced on Amazon for, I think we sold it for $4. But we just wanted to honor him and produce his writings. And so we have 4 volumes planned. This is the first volume called Spring Writings. Kaishin did a lot of the typing, and we did editing to it as kind of a group. And we have our next one coming out, which will be Summer Writings, that we finished editing them finally, and I think we should have it out maybe by Christmas. But when we do, I'll start reading some of those for services as well. So today's writing from Kanto Sumoto Shonin is called Man is a Practicing Reed. It is often said that to keep in good health, we have to have a balanced meal with meat and vegetables. If we were to compare them, we might say meat has a very deep flavor and is very tasty, whereas vegetables may taste shallow or flat to a meat eater and are not as tasty as their meat. Vegetables, though, are an excellent healthy food source for our bodies. Those things which we enjoy as treats are not as good for our bodies, but things which give us bitter trials are very good for our bodies. Cigarettes are a typical example. It is often said, good medicine tastes bitter. If the opposite were true, and the food which we find delicious was good for our bodies, while food which we don't find delicious was not good, then the number of sick people would be drastically reduced. Life doesn't always work the way that we wish it would. In order to live well with a balanced diet, our human bodies must take in things that we don't enjoy. By doing that, we live a healthy life. How about our minds? It is exactly the same with them. We cannot live only for our favorite or enjoyable things. Sometimes we have to experience bitterness or suffering in order to absorb the knowledge of wisdom so we can live our lives better. This is the way to keep a balanced and healthy mind. Human beings are living things which must practice taking care of both their minds and bodies throughout their lives. Why do human beings need to practice? The following is a quote by Blaise Pascal, 1623 to 1662. Man is a thinking reed. He praised how great a feature thinking is. The human being is a very weak living thing, just like a reed. However, they have the strongest feature, which is thinking. A human being is a developing animal, which under any circumstance thinks, studies, and learns by itself. After we are born, we develop characteristics by learning from each experience and each situation. On the other hand, an insect or reptile's nature is dominated by an inborn habit, which is a feature of their character before they are born. Therefore, it is impossible for them to drastically change or improve their nature by themselves. They end their life based on their habits. Human beings, on the other hand, are able to feature their own nature and establish their character by learning lessons from their experiences and or their environment. We are able to develop our own natures by ourselves. This is due to the fact that the human being has a system of adaptability which allows it to adapt to any condition and survive in any environment. Developing our own nature by learning lessons either from experience or observing our environment may also be considered as a form of, quote, practice. Human beings are grasping animals. During the process of forming our own natures, we create an unlimited number of worldly desires, which can cause us tremendous trouble or suffering. If we lived alone on this earth, there would be no conflict, but to live together, we must control our desires and respect the individual merits of those around us. In order to do this, we require a minimum number of rules to coexist with each other. These rules are called, quote, morals. With morals alone, though, it is difficult to deal with spiritual troubles or suffering. According to the development of a human society in terms of lifestyle or the value of life, transformation becomes more diversified. As our desires develop into deep grasping, our troubles also develop into spiritual suffering. We need a spiritual teaching to bring spiritual peace, hope, and guidance to our life. This teaching is called, quote, religion. For a spiritual world and a peaceful mind, Buddhism is the specialty and the Lotus Sutra is the specialist. This teaching makes an analysis of the poison of suffering, explains the cause of suffering, and prescribes a good medicine for us to take to make harmony in body, mind, and nature. This is the teaching of, quote, enlightenment. Learning is enlightenment. It is said that a human being's life begins and ends with learning. Learning is a practice for enlightenment as well. When we listen to a lecture without a humble mind, it is difficult to view or receive it as a teaching. For example, people who are selfish and full of conceit will receive a teaching with sarcasm or slander. They will react by saying things like, none of your business, or thank you for nothing. They will curse the advisor and consider them bad. In this situation, even though it may be good advice or a wonderful teaching, it becomes meaningless. Therefore, to learn something requires a humble and modest attitude. Another example is when someone's words or behavior make us become nasty. If we respond with nasty words, then we will get hurt and end up disliking the person. There's certainly no lesson to learn from life in that type of situation. But if we acknowledge this as a teaching, we should think, this is a message from the Buddha to make me learn more and become more enlightened as a result of another person's speech. This idea makes our mind free from displeasure, and instead we receive their advice as a lesson of enlightenment. There is no need to be hateful to one another. This is the Buddha's teaching. For 2,500 years ago, the Buddha had a cousin named Devadatta. He was jealous of the Buddha's fame, and he desired to take over the Buddhist community. He tried to assassinate the Buddha many times, but always failed. In the end, he died by falling into a battle. Afterwards, the Buddha thought back to his cousin's behavior and said, he always caused me trouble, but if he had not, I would not have attained enlightenment by now. He was my teacher. He will be reborn as a Buddha in the future. Learning is enlightenment. Please keep a modest attitude in order to learn and to become an enlightened one. Practice comes from faith. Practicing is regarded as the principal conduct in the teaching of the Lotus Sutra. Although we might meet a wonderful teaching, we do not always practice the teaching in our lives. The teaching then becomes meaningless. For example, if you wish to become a good tennis player and you memorize all the rules and theories perfectly, this does not mean you will be able to play tennis. Why? Because you've not practiced on the court. Therefore, learning diligently first and then practicing the teaching after having learned the theory are the conditions which give rise to enlightenment. This is called, quote, learning and practicing of the dual path. However, practicing a teaching is not so easy. It is hard work to struggle against your own ego and laziness. The human being's mind can be tempted with laziness, and we lose faith easily when it should be firm. Laziness and ego are strong rivals against faith. In fact, it is harder to defeat our own mind than to defeat others. An example is a person who is determined to chant every morning. Somehow they manage to keep their determination for a couple of weeks. Then one morning they have a headache and think, today is special, I will rest. Before long, the special days turn into regular days. Usually the battle between laziness and faith results in the laziness achieving, quote, victory. At that time, we need to have firm faith and brush off the whisper of laziness and think, this is a trial to test the weakness of my faith. Firm faith comes from a firm belief in the Lotus Sutra. The following are Nichiren Shonen's words. Have faith in the great mandala Gohansen, the most superlative in the world. Endeavor to strengthen your faith so that you may be blessed with the protective powers of all Buddhas. Learn and practice to strengthen your faith. Without learning and practice, there is no Buddhism. Follow the teachings yourself and influence others to do the same. To learn and to practice are part of faith. Even if only a word or a phrase, spread it to others. Shoho hiso sho. We are only able to learn and practice faithfully with support of true faith. A wonderful medicine to achieve enlightenment. At this stage of the game, life gets to be a habit. Behavior or thinking gets to be a habit as well, and we forget the pleasure or the positive impression of learning. Unfortunately, human beings are poor animals that must practice physically and mentally throughout their entire lives, so we should keep the passion to learn and accumulate practices step by step with a modest mind. Faith then becomes the most important key to our success. The Lotus Sutra is called, quote, a wonderful medicine for enlightenment. Everything necessary is included in it. Believing the Lotus Sutra is learning, chanting the Lotus Sutra is practicing, keeping the Lotus Sutra is faith. We can absorb all the nutrition we need naturally from the Lotus Sutra. When you make these practices part of your daily life, true spiritual peace in the mind and heart will sprout. Having faith in this teaching is an ideal practice both mentally and physically. Please keep this thought in your mind and make an effort to learn and practice every day. I wish you all a happy, meaningful New Year in 2002. Anko Smoko Shonin. Dasho. So, it's through diligent practice daily, every single day, that we actualize our Buddhist practice. And it's not about, and I say this often, it's not about freedom from suffering. It's about freedom in suffering. All life is suffering. This is the first noble truth that the Buddha gives us. And that is not a pessimistic view. That is not to view life as horrible. It's to understand that all life is struggle. And it is only through struggle that we gain wisdom and energy and patience and compassion and generosity and endeavor for the mission. And what is the mission? To help all sentient beings attain enlightenment. The mission is the relentless pursuit of self-betterment for the benefit of all sentient beings. Daily practice, whether it's the daily practice of sitting in meditation, the daily practice of chanting, or the daily practice of Shodaigyo or chanting the Lotus Sutra, it's the daily practice every day, even if it's just a little bit. That is the drop that gradually takes the unhewn stone and shapes it better to fit within the cathedral of mankind. So that we all are building this beautiful stupa together of humanity, of all beings together. And it's one action at a time. It's one thought at a time. No one is beyond redemption. And what is redemption? Redemption is your next positive thought, your next positive action towards another human being, seeing them as equal to you in capacity, even if they aren't actualizing it. That's freedom. That you're not in this just for you, you're in this for everybody else too. That your daily practice is how you are able to exude the patience, the love, the generosity, the energy, the wisdom, the meditation necessary to be there for other beings. Even if it's just as an example that they see you in the midst of your own suffering, find peace. That's inspirational for them. Sometimes being able to be there for somebody else is inspirational for you too, and will lift you up in your lowest state. Maybe you're having your worst possible day, but then you have an opportunity to show gratitude or compassion or just to lend an ear to some other being. And for a moment, it's not about your suffering. It's not about their suffering. It's about shared experience. And the shared experience is why we come to temple and why we chant together. It's why we practice the Lotus Sutra. It's so to deeper understand that all of the universe is one massive shared experience. We're all connected. If we want to look at it scientifically, we're all connected on a molecular level. When we talk about emptiness, there's emptiness everywhere. Every firm object is really much more empty space than solid space. We spend all this time trying to defend ourselves, but who are we? We don't exist. We're the five skandhas. We're a series of piles of experiences. I like ice cream that tastes like this as opposed to like this. But does that mean that this ice cream is better than this ice cream? No. It's just a personal opinion. And in the end, we start thinking that those personal opinions are the things that define us. Oh, I always do this. I always like this. I always eat this. I always sleep on this. I always do it this way. But that is not the case. And anyone who's had a significant other, you've had your significant other call you out when you say, I always do this, and they go, oh, no. That is not the case. You are so a hypocrite. You do not do that all the time. You do this all the time, and usually we go, no. But the truth is, they are our mirror, right? Everyone we meet is a mirror of ourselves. It's an opportunity to see ourselves. If you notice, when somebody freaks out on you, if you remain calm, like the surface of the pond, they are better able to see their reactions. They're better able to see that they're angry. Those of us who are teachers know that when children come and scream and you're, I'm angry, and you just kind of, or parents, then they start realizing, they start seeing that they're the ones frustrated, that they're feeling angry, they're experiencing themselves. But if you don't act as a mirror, then all they see is you reacting, and they never get the opportunity to see themselves in the mirror. That's why anyone we meet that allows us to be able to see our mirror, we have to thank them, like the Buddha did Devadatta, that his worst enemy, in quotation marks, was his best teacher. So let's practice with that in mind today. Let's really enter into the chanting today with each other, enjoy ourselves, lose yourself, be together. It's such a pleasure to get this opportunity. And as we read our Shodhya pamphlet, at the very beginning, it even says, it is difficult to be born as a human being. I have now realized such a birth. To hear the teaching of the Buddha is difficult. I have now been able to hear it. I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So if you think about it, in the grand scheme of the universe, as massive as the universe is, imagine all of the causes and conditions that had to happen simultaneously just for you, whichever one of you is thinking about you right now, to be here today, experiencing this. Like, how rare is that in the grand scheme of the universe? Billions upon billions upon billions upon billions of worlds and suns and galaxies. How many things had to coalesce just for you to be here today? So in this basic practice, one of the main things that we do is we remind ourselves, man, it is really, really awesome to be born here now. Regardless of what I have to experience, this is a rare occasion. So to realize the birth as a human being is just so unique. Beyond that, to hear the teaching of the Buddha is even rarer. Of all of the human beings on the earth, maybe 2% of all human beings are Buddhist. That in and of itself is rare. And what makes it rare? Because it's a teaching that says all beings are equal. All beings have the same infinite capacity. And that our lives are for the benefit of all sentient beings, not just ourselves. This is a controversial teaching. And then, to take refuge is how we become Buddhists. We take refuge in the three jewels, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. The Buddha is our example. The man, Siddhartha Gautama, born in Nepal over 25 to 2,800 years ago. A man, not a god. However, we refer to him as the emanation of the eternal Buddha. That Buddha nature, that concept that all beings have the same infinite connection and capacity from all time, and that it's always there. The Dharma, the teaching, the method, the way, the practice that we learn in Buddhism and the Sangha. Those who practice together and support each other in the practice. We could even say that all human beings are our Sangha because we are constantly in a state of learning. Everyone we meet, no matter how they behave, they are our teacher. They are our Sangha, right? Our community. They support our practice. So all three of those things are necessary and totally combined. And the amazing thing, the reason that we follow the Lotus Sutra is that the Lotus Sutra is a recontextualization of all of our lives. It says that just by being exposed to it, it assures us that we will become Buddhas. Well, if we look at that, that recontextualizes our entire life. That means that everything that you've experienced up till now is going to lead to your enlightenment, is going to lead to Buddhahood. You are assured of it. Therefore, what you're doing now is not useless. It is not bad. It is not defiled. It is one of the things, or a series of things, that will lead you towards becoming a Buddha. And what is becoming a Buddha? To see the world as it is and be there for all sentient beings. It also says that we are originally bodhisattvas if we came to this practice. That means that all of our previous incarnations, whatever name they have been, have helped to lead us to this practice. So from that point forward, this practice is what is going to lead us to enlightenment and allow us to help others to reach enlightenment as well. So when you have that bad day, right? When you have that person who cut you off in traffic, who gave you the finger, that student that yells in your face, right? Realize that they are absolutely integral for your enlightenment, for your growth, and you're absolutely integral to their enlightenment and their growth too. And that oftentimes the things in nature that we venerate the most are the most broken and the most gnarled, and not the prettiest things in the whole world. And then when we can recontextualize something like a bonsai tree, it's a beautiful thing, not a gnarled thing. So when we recontextualize other human beings, not as broken things, but as beautiful, gnarled things that have their own unique life, then we stop seeing suffering, and we stop seeing people outside of ourselves, and we just see other versions of ourselves. So today, in our Shodaigyo, let your authentic voice come out. Lose yourself in everybody. When you sit in meditation, just be here now. Yes. Please place your hands in Gacho. Rai, high. Dojo Kan. Know this place in which we find ourselves now is a dojo, a place of Buddhist training. All Buddhas come to this place and attain perfect enlightenment. All Buddhas come to this place and turn the wheel of the Dharma. All Buddhas come to this place and enter into Nirvana. Om Santi. It is difficult to be born as a human being. I have now realized such a birth. To hear the teaching of the Buddha is difficult. I have now been able to hear it.
I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Nam-myo renge kyo.
Please place your hands in Old Kaya Join, Cosmic Realm Mudra. Tongue on the roof of your mouth. Please sit so that you're nice and comfortable with your back erect. Allow your spine to hold the weight. Feel as if your head is floating on like a balloon and your waist is sinking on the boat. Right hand, left hand. Thumbs touching lightly. Doshingyo. Silent meditation to center and calm the mind and body so that we may chant the Odai Mo. place your hands on your shoulder.
Namu,
Place your hands in both by your knee, pausing from neutral. Begin as we began with silent meditation. This time, Yoshinyo. Silent meditation to feel the sublime dharma of the old Aimogu and the preciousness. Today we respectfully dedicate our merit to those in sickness and distress, and to those who have passed. Today we remember those in sickness and distress. We remember Kelly, Damian Reddick, Provost, Renee Hardaway, Jessica Jones, Jason Wellman, Nadine Morsch, Dirk Patton, Kevin Hampton, Jesse Schaefer, Bo Smoky, Amanda Williams, Cindy Smith, Julia Ann Laverne, Rodney Shepard, Rose Addison, Martin Laverne, Lisa Simmons, Ken Lawrenson, Lucille Bragg, Gail Gold, Melissa M. Schoaf, and Renee Hardaway. We also remember those who have passed in memoriam. We remember Amy and Maria Valentin, Elaine and Joe Winter, C.P. Grohl and Augustus Grohl, Albert Rivas, Shay, Ning Chi, Stella Swoop, Ali, and Mussel, Jack Parker, Bill Mears Sensei, Terry Paquin, Cosgrove Jordan, Cheryl Cushman, Aunt Barbara, Wayne, Jean Knopp, Deidre Hussick, Cheryl Sissy Jones, Michael Maffei, Diane Dolan, Jez Apple, Jack Lipson, and Peter Lanuski. We respect you deeply. You will all be able to practice the way of bodhisattvas and become Buddhas. May the merits we have accumulated by this offering be distributed among all living beings, and may we and all other living beings attain the enlightenment of the Buddha. Right, high.
On you.
Hi.
Guys, welcome back to the Star Wars headquarters.
Welcome back to the Star Wars headquarters. Full disclosure, that was my YouTube channel that I
Okay, you ready? Smile.
That's
Julian.
right there.
Julian.
It's just fine.
1, 2, 3. Ha. I think I got it. Ah. That's a good one.
You like my beard?
Oh, that's good.
It's a little hand. Good.
A little hard.
Okay.
Okay, can we get him down here?
No, it's
Okay.
fine.
All right.
It's fine.
It's more, who could go where that came from?
Uh-oh.
Pretty much the concept, yeah. We just gotta get it the right part. Yeah. We have rice and we have kimchi and we have all sorts of stuff. Ladies, if you would please put the candles out, and then we usually have our pictures. So if everyone will indulge me today and take pictures, I get to hold Julian. Dibs on the baby.
And the bonsai show is over at the Monroe Community Hospital.
Which
Don't
is
give up, there's a barrier there, but just go around it to get into the hospital because we're losing a lot of people. They're afraid to come in there. So just go there and it's, we have bonsai and we also have some 7 Ikebana. So there is a workshop or a presentation at 2:00.
Presentation at 2, and then if you go down South Avenue and follow it around South Avenue, it becomes East Henrietta Road right at East Henrietta and Westfall.
Yes.
And Westfall, that is the Genesee Country Museum across from the new Costco.
Yeah, and it's the Monroe Community Hospital.
And it's a beautiful bit of architecture as well.
Lots of signs around it.
Yeah, lots of signs and so many cool like bonsai trees, as well as all sorts of 7 flower arrangements and stuff like that.
And there's also a number of vendors there that have stuff for sale.
It's gonna be the Abbott one day.
It's perfect to have a job here.
You okay, buddy?
What's that?
Thanks to you.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
It's like a god.
Always be surprising. Everything.
Like, I don't want to get where what is this guy talking about? I've been in here, you know? Even though that person is supporting you is not there, the teaching will still remain.
Very.
That's why we got minutes.
It's wonderful to have a child. It doesn't bother anybody. It's part of the meditation. These guys are good.
Pressure kid, so he's using like. So he's like, right now, I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I know what you meant.
Marissa, she